everyone. Today I will be giving you all a tour of my first sketchbook ever, which I got at 9 years old. So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's get started. This is my first actual sketchbook ever. It's a Strathmore sketch paper sketchbook given to me by my parents. Along with it, I was also gifted a pack of sketch pencils from the brand called General's Pencil Company. And that came with charcoal pencils, I think different types of graphites, a couple of pastels, and a kneadable eraser, which was the first I had ever used. And I think I ended up using it more like Play-Doh than an eraser because, well, I was 9. Now, since this was my first actual, what I felt to be professional art tool sort of kit, I tried to take good care of it, so I didn't want to mess up the cover of the sketchbook or add anything on it because I did want to preserve it, but I did write my name and date on the first page, I believe, inside. Let's get into the drawings. And before we get into it, be sure to subscribe for more art. There's a lot more to come. I'll be sharing some more tips that I've learned in my creative journey, and I'd love for you to join me. Let's get to the video. This is my very first piece. It looks like he is a Doberman mixed breed. At the time, I was always collecting dog breed books. I was and still am obsessed with dogs, so a lot of these drawings are probably going to be of dogs. At the time, I didn't know how to use a charcoal pencil, so I remember smearing a lot on the paper. I remember a lot of the time I would end up touching furniture or my stuffed animals with my charcoal hands and would get in a bit of trouble staining some stuff around the house. Let me know in the comments if you guys had similar struggles to that growing up. This is a brown horse. I forgot to mention earlier, I was equally into horses as much as dogs, and I tended to draw them with bangs that would almost always cover their eyes. Not sure why I did that. This is a similar situation here. Not sure if it's because I wasn't sure how to draw the eyes, but I'm pretty sure it's because I thought bangs would look way cooler. So we have like this brown horse here. It looks like he's nuzzling. I think in my head at this time, this was supposed to be like a mother and daughter horse. Not sure why the mom is a different color from the daughter. These are 3 dog breeds that I drew, and I think I labeled them as well here. Looks like he's missing some of the whites in his eyes. And this is an Appaloosa. I've added a ton of spots, and I tried to randomize that as well as drew a little background. I loved the movie Hachi growing up. As a kid, it was one of the movies that would make me really emotional. And I remembered having a lot of fun practicing drawing him. I thought he was one of the cutest dogs in the world. And this is a unicorn. Honestly, I cannot remember what reference I was looking at, but I do know I was dying to try out the color pencils that were in that pencil kit that weren't like typical animal colors like brown and black and white. So it looks like he used a lot of blue here and a bunch of other rainbow colors. And these are Rhodesian Ridgeback dogs. I'm pretty sure I was looking at some sort of picture. Like Hachi, I love the movie Where the Red Fern Grows. That got me emotional too at a young age. And for people who aren't familiar with the movie, the 2 main dogs in the story are actually Rhodesian Ridgebacks. And I thought they were super cute. And I felt really sad for them in the end. This is a pony, not exactly sure what breed. We've also got some white snow here as well, outlined in blue. Now this is where I started doing 2 things. I started taking requests of pictures from my family, and I remember I started naming the dogs as well. So this is like a Pomeranian named Goldie. And keep in mind, I was really trying to make everything as anatomically correct as possible. Not sure if I really achieved that looking back, but definitely in my head at that time, I was really focused on getting it to look as realistic as possible. And this is a bulldog I remember being really, really happy with. These are two Boston Terriers. My older sister used to be obsessed with them. Not sure why I named one Yoda. I hadn't even watched Star Wars at that time, but I guess Boston Terrier faces kind of look like Yoda a bit up close. English setters are multicolored, so that's what I tried to do for this drawing. Fortunately, it seems like I didn't follow through with that sun in the background. Looks like I only focused on coloring the dog in. And next is an Arctic wolf. And I really tried hard with those expressions here to make him look really scary, creeping up behind the rock there. And here's another unicorn. I think I drew this for my little sister. She loves pink. I also practiced blending colors using my fingers. And I think this sketch pencil set included some of those blending pencils. But for some reason, I had some difficulty using them. I didn't really know how. So I ended up using tissues. But that ended up making things a lot smudgier. So it's kind of just trial and error. Seeing, what worked and what didn't. And here's a green unicorn, my older sister's favorite color, so it was probably a request from her. This is a dog I named Jackson. It looks like he's a Jack Russell Terrier who is pretty spiffy with a little bow tie. I used to watch a lot of Wishbone at that age. Let me know in the comments if you guys used to watch that show as well. The main dog, Wishbone, he was a Jack Russell. And next is a Saint Bernard puppy. Not sure where the name Bobby Joe came from. That's probably a funny name that my sisters and I thought was super funny, so I named him that. And this is, I believe, colored with my pencils, although it looks a bit more like crayon on camera. And this is a Chinese crested that I drew. I thought it was super, super funky looking type of dog. And they're usually hairless in most parts of their body except like their heads and their tails, so I thought it'd be really fun to draw. This was something I also thought came out really nice. And next is little Anthony. I tried for him not really making a solid outline. As you can see, instead of strands of hair, I drew those to sort of create his form. This was probably a request from my little sister. She loves Yorkies. She still does. I think I remember getting tired of charcoals since I didn't know exactly how to use it, so I used more of the graphite pencils a lot instead from the brush set. And this is a Barzoi with the yellowish and black fur and white. Now to my favorite breed, the Bernese Mountain Dog. His proportions are definitely a little bit off here, but I did try to capture those tri-colored patterns in his fur. I spent a lot of time on this one, I remember, because this was like my favorite dog. I was like, I can't screw it up. He's got to look cute and fluffy just like his picture. This was a drawing of corgis before corgis were in. Here I tried adding a background. This was a little more challenging for me because of all of the droopiness of the dog. That's probably why I named him Droopy. Real clever. This is a piece I remember being super happy about. He's even got a little medal that he's wearing and a big star in the background. He looks like I think in my head, I remember thinking at the time, he just won like a dog show kind of thing. That was a story. And this was a picture of a donkey I had found, I believe, in a book, maybe from the library or something, and I thought he was super cute, so I tried to copy it, especially with that big patch of fur in the middle of his head. I thought that was really unique. And by the way, at this point, I'm probably around 10 years old, because this sketchbook spanned maybe a year or so. So yeah, this is, started it at 9, now I'm about 10. These are Norwegian fjord horses, now famous for being Anna and Hans horses, I believe from Frozen. These are Shire horses, most likely. I tried to add background here with some clouds, some mountains. And 2 Shelties. I had gone outside on a picnic and I had seen 2 Shetland sheepdogs. And I remember thinking they were super, super cute. I had to draw them. And it doesn't really translate super well in the camera, but I remember when I made this drawing, I had a color, which was this yellowish kind of color that perfectly fit Shetland sheepdogs. So I was really excited to color these guys in. And lastly is the Rottweiler. Not sure why he's floating in heaven with those golden clouds in the background, but I guess I was going for some sort of look here. He's got that harness around his body. And my first sketchbook is complete. Thank you guys for tuning in for this little trip back in time. I would love to know how old you were when you got your first sketchbook or formal art supply. So let me know in the comments. Just a reminder, everybody starts somewhere, so as much as sometimes I cringe really hard inside looking at my old art, it's also kind of fun to look back and be like, oh wow, look how much I've evolved with my art and my skills, and you should always be proud of what you create no matter what stage you are in your art journey. And that wraps up this video. Please subscribe if you haven't done so, and there's so much more content coming your way. I will see you all in the next video, and stay tuned, there's going to be a part 2 of the sketchbook tour, so keep an eye out for that as well. Alright, thank you all for watching.